Once there lived a boy in a town. One day he came to visit his grandfather during his summer holidays. He used to play with his grandpa all the time. One day he said to his grandpa, "Grandpa, when I grow up, I want to become a successful man. Can you tell me some ways to be successful?" Grandpa nodded in agreement and took him to a nearby nursery. From the nursery, his grandpa bought 2 small plants and came back home. Then he planted one plant in a pot and kept it inside the house, while he planted the other plant outside the house. The boy asked, "What do you think? Which of these 2 plants will grow better in the future?" Grandfather was pensive for some time and then said, "The plant inside the house will grow better because it is safe from every danger, while the plant outside is at risk of many things like strong sunlight, storms, rain, and animals." Grandfather smiled and said, "Let us see what happens in the future." After that, the boy left, but 4 years later, he came to visit his grandfather again. When the boy saw his grandfather, he asked, "Grandpa, last time I asked you a question about how to be successful in life, but you did not tell me anything. But this time, you have to tell me." Grandfather smiled and said, "Sure. But first, let us take a look at the plants that we bought a few years back." Saying this, Grandfather took the boy to the place where he had planted the small plant in a pot. They saw that the small plant had turned into a big plant. Then he took the boy to look at the plant they had planted outside. They saw that a big tree had grown from the small plant, with its branches spreading far and wide, providing shade to passers-by. Now the grandfather looked at the boy and asked, "Tell me, which plant grew more? Which is more successful?" The boy replied, "The one we planted outside." The boy then asked, "But Grandpa, how is this possible? That plant must have faced so many dangers, yet it grew so big." Grandfather smiled and said, "Yes, the plant outside had to face many things, but dealing with problems had its benefits too. The plant outside had the freedom to spread its roots as much as it wanted. Problems like storms and heavy rain made its roots even stronger. Today, it is so strong that a small storm cannot cause any harm to it, while the plant we planted inside remained small and weak because it did not withstand the heavy storms, rain, and strong sunlight." Then the grandfather looked at his grandson and said, "My son, always remember that unless you struggle in life, unless you go through difficulties, you too will not be able to achieve success in your life. If you make comfortable choices, you will not be able to grow as you can. But if you are ready to struggle and go through difficulties, then no goal is impossible for you to achieve. Therefore, never think of problems as hurdles, but think of them as stepping stones towards success." The boy took a deep breath and started looking at the tree. The words of his grandfather were echoing in his mind. Obstacles, which we consider as enemies in our life, are the same obstacles that make us stronger and more successful in our life. So the next time you face a challenge or a difficult time in your life, don't give up.